Hello everyone, welcome to the ProPokePodcast. My name is ProPokePodcast. Joining me is the illustrious Emma Gamma. Hello Emma Gamma, the illustrious.
I am apparently very illustrious.
Do you even know what that means?
Not really.
Same. I don't know.
Dictionary.com, here I go.
Okay, well, he looks that up. Welcome to the ProPokePodcast Week 3 analysis episode. We're going to be looking over the events that happened in Week 3, giving you a quick synopsis of what Week 4 is looking like, I guess. Wanted to use less likes there. Didn't happen. Before we get into any analysis today, I do need to make a very big announcement regarding the future of Pro Pokeball Season 5. The coach of the Sarasota Suicunes has been disqualified from the tournament for attempting to pass on private team information. He was informed that he will be kicked out for the remainder of Season 5. He is welcome to stay on the channel as well as in future Pro Pokeballs, but we will be continuing on with the tournament without the Sarasota Suicunes. This does mean that with two teams being taken out, there will be a couple of extra buys, but nonetheless, we still will have between 3 to 4 battles each week. So there will be enough content still to talk about, and we'll just go on from there. Just want to make a quick, shameless sort of statement during this time to say that we do take the integrity of the Pro Pokeball very seriously. I do consult a lot of people before making decisions. I also make my own decisions based on the rules that I have written in my rule book. The rule book is growing year by year, and as more things come up, more things get added, and the overall paperwork of everything does become a little deeper in its coverage of all the situations you can find in the Pro Pokeball. So very similar to what happened with Miami Malix, the Sarasota Suicunes team will be added back to the trade pool, and coaches can start picking a part of it starting in Week 4.
I looked up the definition of illustrious.
Yes.
You're wrong.
What?
It's an adjective to describe somebody as well-known, respected, and or admired for past achievements. So thanks for lying to everybody.
I'd like to believe that you do have a lot of accomplishments, no matter how big or small they are. For example, we got to talk about that podcast you used to do. I need you to go over to youtube.com/inertfury. That's an old joke on the channel. That is a very vintage meme. If you're listening to this, Mr. Inert Fury, if you are listening to this, I need you to revive that meme and come back because I miss you, man. This is no longer a podcast about Pokemon. This is about finding old friends that I've lost on the internet.
I don't know you, but I miss you too. Come back, please.
There you go.
Don't make me go outside your house with the boombox.
If you even knew where he was.
Yeah, true.
And you know what? He'd probably listen to the boombox and hold a boombox back at you from the top of his window. He'd just be like, I can do this back to you.
Sounds like a stand-up guy.
Well, he would be having to stand up to do that for you there outside his window. Anyways, don't hate me. Don't hate me.
Oh my god.
Just stare into the bicep while we talk about Week 3. Week 3 was a very interesting week in terms of results. I think I want to say that our expectations were somewhat met. Would you agree with that, Gamma? The expectations of who you thought or the way the points would go were somewhat met for your standards?
I was actually pleasantly surprised with some of them. Some of the people that ended up going 2-0, I kind of expected them to go 1-1. But the matches were great. I enjoyed all of them. And really that's what I thought about that. I'm not disappointed. I'm just disappointed.
I'm giving him the puppy dog face. Be like, okay, yeah, that's very fair. I actually do think that about 85%. There's only 4 battles. I don't know where the hell I pulled out 85% from.
75%.
You know how? Okay, that one I guessed. That one I did not guess at all. I expected to go the exact opposite, to be honest with you, but I was hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? None of these actually went the way. Only one of them, and that's the first match that we're going to talk about this week. As much as I had faith, the first match of Week 3 was Ice Cold versus the Fortnite Ninjas, Initiator versus Mitchie W. And this was basically a bit of a you were kind of hoping you'd see something similar to what happened with the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, where it looked very good, except that I gave Initiator a little bit more agency to be able to build something that would be able to manage and pressure the Fortnite ninjas a little more. But in the end, that giant weakness to the Rotom Heat with all the things that he brought, on top of the fact that he just really couldn't answer the Slowking again, with not bringing any of the Pokemon to answer it, it just led into one giant spiral, and the hazards again, man. It's just that hazard strat that you always see from Mitch. It's the straightforward play, get the right Pokemon in, Rotom Heat plus Gengar to sweep up game one at least, but it was just so much to get through, and Mitchie just built pretty much a team that was gonna beat down Initiator if he didn't bring anything game one to show.
No, yeah, I'm with you, Noob. I agree. Friggin' hazards was the game, and Mitchie played it really well. Sadly, it's hard to balance keeping on top of the hazards along with going along with the mind games, trying to play 4D chess with your opponent, playing that extra dimension to it,
Have you ever played 4D chess?
No, nobody has.
Have you even played 3D chess?
Listen, man.
I want to try 3D chess. That would actually...
I've never even played chess, so you need to calm down.
Really?
I think I tried it once, but I never really cared.
Oh.
All I know is the horse does like an L or some.
The horse goes 2 forward, or 2 in one cardinal direction, and then 1 to make the L. Yes.
Listen, I play Pokemon. That's chess enough, okay? That's complex chess.
I mean, I guess.
Extreme checkers, maybe some would say.
Pokemon is not checkers. Maybe Chinese checkers, where it's
No,
like
it's
once it gets going,
checkers.
it just keeps going. Chinese checkers is actually super fun.
I did play that once actually.
Chinese it's fun. I actually super enjoy Chinese checkers.
Yeah.
We had let's just to quickly break it down, right? Obviously, the team that Mitchie brought was great. It had a lot of Pokemon that were gonna do quite a bit of damage if Inish did not prepare him correctly. But Inish did prepare him correctly. What really caught him off guard was, first of all, the Fire Blast in Game 1 from the Slowking. That was kind of a big surprise. I mean, because usually, I gotta remember, I guess he was going off just that knowledge of maybe it was the Future Sight Slowking that generally gets run quite a bit, but this time he just mixes it up, and it kind of makes sense because Mitchie knows that Initiator wants to put that Ferrothorn out to try and just nail it nonstop with Power Whips, and it didn't end up happening. And then, going into Game 2, we just couldn't see an answer because, unfortunately, his hazard remover was Moltres.
Which those rocks just demolished.
Yeah, and to be able to answer that Fortress, Initiator needed more ways to be able to actually threaten the Fortress. And with the team that he brought, like the funny thing about Moltres is Moltres does 2 great things, right? It has a defog, but then also has the fire move to roast the Fortress. The issue was that Mitchie just used the Fortress at the exact right times to set up the hazards, to switch out with the Volt Switch, to put all that stuff down when Inish couldn't get in, and every time that he would try and come in, he was just taking damage, right? That's why he's prioritizing the Stealth Rocks. Like, well, I know your Moltres is going to do this, and you're not going to succeed. So, and then his other defogger, of course, is a Yen Mega, and then if he wants to go, spinning with Kamala, well, now you're going to Kamala, right? Like, you're going to have some problems with Kamala trying to get stuff done, despite the fact that I think his moveset would have been okay because it would have been more priority, being able to give him switch initiative with the likes of U-turn and things like this. I think the biggest question mark that really comes at the end of the day for this series is why no Ghost type? Gamma, why no Ghost type?
On Inish's side?
Yes.
I don't think there was really any need for it. I think he was trying to counter what he could through all of the options that Mitch had. And I think he tried his best with it, honestly.
I don't think whatever he brought was necessarily wrong. There are a couple of moves that are kind of odd. Kind of looking back on it, it was just some of the plays that he was because here's the one thing that's becoming really obvious in this particular season. A lot of people are getting caught with hazards being set up. It's not Pokemon setting up per se, it's hazards being set up on them. So when you're not answering the hazards instantly or not reading ahead of what's going to happen, most times you're not losing momentum by just playing it correctly, right? So if you just say, I know he wants to set up hazards. I'm not going to lose anything by leading Moltres, or if I'm going to lose something by leading Moltres, if that Slowking's going to switch out, why do I care? Let's just keep making the plays as long as I keep the hazards away. Then I think he's okay. Now, I want to actually do some damage calcs here really quickly to check to see, because I do think that the Dusknoir and or the Mimikyu would have been okay enough to handle it for a couple of different reasons. One, they were both choice banded, which, if you look at what Mitchie brought the Gengar, which would have died, right? The Slowking, which would have died. And really, if you get those two out of the way, all you have left is the Rotom Heat to worry about, right? And the Rotom Heat could have been handled, in my opinion, in terms of a moveset. If I was to bring a moveset, I would want to see Assault Vest Dusknoir, because I think that would have taken a lot more hits, and then would have also, would have also just soaked up enough that Anish was having the issues, because the issues were Volt Switch was hurting, right? Even leftovers, like even just bulky leftovers Dusknoir, right? Volt Switch was hurting from it. Worrying about Overheat was hurting it, right? Slowbro was mega'd really early nonstop, so he didn't have that regenerator to work with. So once you start losing that, you see it all collapse, and we've already said that the defensive core defines the winners in this tournament, and Anish didn't have it. And the other Pokemon that then, if you see that the Ghost didn't come in, is why Crabominable, Gamma? Why Crabominable?
Listen, he wants to win the bet, okay? He's got to get that play in, all right? Just saying.
And he has many other weeks to do it.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying.
You might as well get it in at the beginning if you're going to go through with this.
I guess.
There's that, and then, I mean, I agree with you. Maybe throwing in a Ghost wouldn't have been a bad idea in hindsight. Like, especially knowing what the whole situation was with the hazards and the phasing.
There were a few times where, like, Mega Slowbro looked really good to sweep. First of all, Surf, I think, was to specifically get that little bit extra damage in, knowing that he needs to get that extra damage in. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like, because the Slowking was just it was in his way nonstop, right? It stopped so much that he wanted to do. And then because of that, Rotom Heat could come in, and then in the end, like, you're watching, and you don't want to assume it, but, like, Conkeldurr and Gengar are just in the back, like, we're ready to kill off everything. Like, it's so hard to see past that front line that just spelled doom for Anish. It's okay. I'm gonna check this really quickly. I am gonna put in the Rotom Heat and the what is that? I'm gonna put in the Rotom Heat, and I'm gonna put in the Slowking. All right, here we go. So, Choice Banded. First of all, the cool thing about both these being Choice Banded is they both had Trick. So, even tricking Choice Band over would be better, because then you're not dealing with Assault Vest. Plus, he has a Pokemon that can use Assault Vest like Dusknoir, right? So, Dusknoir Choice Banded against this Max Defense Slowking, and Max Defense makes sense because Mitchie is expecting the Ghost to give him problems, right? He built to stop that because Mimikyu and Dusknoir can crush once they get rid of those walls. Once they get rid of those giant walls, damage will start racking up too much, and Nish can sweep with Mega Slowbro, right? Those things are stopping Mega Slowbro from feeling comfortable. So Choice Banded Shadow Sneak does 38 to 45%. So it's not a lot, right? It's a 3-hit KO. So it's not feeling great. If we bring in the Mimikyu with Shadow Claw, which I said it was going to have, is a 56 to 67% against that Slowking. So that's a 2-hit KO. And yeah, you gotta worry about Conkeldurr with the knockoff and stuff like this. But it's like, the point of the Mimikyu and the point of the disguise and being able to use that, to me, is get the damage off because you're free with Disguise, right? Disguise is a free hit, a free setup. And even if it's Choice Banded...
you always want to drop that.
Yeah.
You always want to drop the Swords Dance.
Well, the thing is, this doesn't have Swords Dance, but the one thing you could use to your advantage is the Trick, right? Yeah, you don't want to trick the Flame Orb, that would suck. But do you, here's the thing, do you actually expect Trick on Mimikyu? I don't. I don't expect Choice Banded Mimikyu, right? I expect Z-Splash, or I expect Swords Dance, right?
Yeah, no, and I would not expect... Mimikyu is not the first Pokemon that comes to mind when I think of Trick.
Yeah, I would think of Dusknoir as banded with Trick. Okay, yeah. not until hindsight, but I mean, if I saw it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a moveset. If I saw it on Mimikyu, I'd be like, that's a moveset? Right? I consider it to be in game 2, even if he didn't bring a game 1, he didn't have to bring a game 1, but if he brought a game 2, even though he doesn't have Shadow Sneak on his Mimikyu, the fact that he could very potentially, first of all, Slowking is never staying in. So if he switches out, something's getting blasted. The Fortress is going to take some damage. Things are going to take some damage. Mitchie's going to figure out its Choice Banded. Okay. Do you think he's going to figure out its trick? Because then you try and figure out what do you trick and what do you steal and what do you make work. The Destiny Bond could be a nice surprise. There's a lot of things that he can make work here to give him that advantage, especially since that Mitchie could potentially be baited to knock off with, I think Kelder had knockoff, right? Am I right in saying that?
Probably.
Yeah, it had knockoff. So imagine now, even if you get the value, he hits you, and then he sees that your item's not going to be like, okay, whatever, I can kill him. But then he drops D-Bond. Now you've taken a 1-for-1. That's even advantage if he's not going to get the play rough off, right? You can get the play rough. Like, there's so many things that I feel like he could have done. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to check it, but I don't know. I'm just stuck on, yeah, the trick isn't going to matter, but I still think the Ghost needed something to scare Mitch, because the big thing about that entire series, Mitch wasn't scared. Mitch could tank the damage for days. The Gigalith, the Rotom Heat is just going to be swapping whatever it needed to, but the Slowking tanks everything. Crabominable does nothing to this core. And, even with Fortress, that's the other thing too, is Fortress is out, and now you don't have a Pokemon to even put damage down on this, right? He could have had Fire Punch on Dustour if he wanted to. I don't think he did, but he could.
Something popped into my mind. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you do me a damage calc of a Shadow Claw against a Gengar from a Mimikyu?
Oh, that'll kill. Why?
Just one shot?
It should. I'll confirm that, but it should one shot.
I'm just curious because I was thinking of ways to counter and whatnot, and thinking about how Gengar is both types it's strong against. Okay, so it is a one shot.
It's a mega one shot, 131 to 154. Even without band, let me see. Even without band, it doesn't one shot, but it's 88 to 104. So
yeah, I was just thinking of what was the danger between Gengar coming out and Mimikyu going in. It could just take the hit with the decoy if it's slower, and then just knock out. That would have been an easy answer to that.
The one answer that I would definitely see that Mitchie would most certainly use would be the Gigalith, right? Gigalith comes in, tanks the hits. But here's the thing, right? Even just make the point is not what was going to kill what. It's the fact that you didn't have a Pokemon to scare Mitch into having to switch and answer you, right? There were no answers, right? He didn't have to play the let's get to know your team dating sim. It's 1v6 when it can't be a 6v6. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. I understand that Slowking had an answer for everything on his team.
Yeah.
Everything. It was a good play.
Not everything. The ghost types. He didn't have an answer for that.
Okay, almost everything. He had a Gengar. That's the answer. Bam. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So that brings me to my point for the next time Anish comes out and has a battle. If it's not working out, I really would love to see some switch-ins, because that's the name of the game, man. Just think out as hard as you can. At this point, forget the Crabominable. Just please, for prosperity's sake for yourself, please don't worry about the Crabominable.
He's giving you a PSA about his $10 sub.
Just take this. Listen.
Will you give him a sub if he doesn't use it ever again? or only if we deem it worthy? We can't change the board. If
he personally feels that it's bringing down his whole team, and he still wants the $10 sub, I'll give it to him.
He's got 8 more weeks to work with this, or whatever, 7 more weeks, however many more battles he has. He can finish it off anytime he wants. Really, I think when you see it in game 1 and you look at Crabominable, it's not even a kind of question, okay, maybe it could do this. It was, to me, literally what is this actually doing here? Right? It wasn't just a question of, you bring anything else. I don't care. Bring Yamega. I don't care. Or Kamala. I really don't care. It's just more of this Crabominable really doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't an answer going in. But once you saw the damage, you're going, you didn't even go for Superpower, predicted the Fortress to come in. Fortress is going to soak it up anyways, but it's like there's just so many... Again, I want to... the thing about Mitch is he's really good at obviously playing it out when his hand's not forced. And when his hand is forced, that's when you can find your ways in, because that's when you get into the mind games. You have to play mind games with Mitchie, right? That's standard Pokemon. You have to make people make moves, right? If you don't make moves, his team is too good to live with that. He's like, okay, whatever, I'll move in. I'll take free rent. That's what you're doing. You're giving him free rent by not making him have to actually play a game outside of super standard, setting up hazards, sweeping you later.
Yeah.
He needs to be forced. You watch the games, and we're not even talking about mistakes. It's like, if you want to watch when he gets pressured, put him against somebody who has put him on the back foot in the past in the tournaments, right? What ends up happening? Hacks? Sure, whatever, but skip the hacks parts. It's like, because he had to make a move that was slightly off the main path, and that's it. And that's how you do it, right? You throw it's kind of it's nudging people slowly off the bar until they have to come back and reset, and that's when you get the reverse hook in. That's the whole point. So that's how I saw that match. I don't think it was bad by any means. I think
they're both good battlers.
They're both. I still expect both of them to do well, right? Initiator has shown really good proficiency, and the one thing that we really have to shout out is Initiator did not bring Trick Room with this team, and it still did it on paper. It still looked like it could have done stuff if he had picked other Pokemon to make that work. This does mean that he has found a way to make this team flexible, because he has the better Trick Room Pokemon that are self-sufficient Trick Roomers, which means he now has super flexibility with this team. And that's what I want to see, right? Trick Room wouldn't actually have been a good call against Mitchie, so I'm glad he didn't bring it. Why? Because, yeah, what would it crush? Rotom, Heat, and Gengar. Cool, but if you're not getting past his walls, who cares? Conkeldur's going to smash you, right? Girder could come in later. Spiritomb could do something even if he wanted to. Not that it's going to, but the point is, it's like Trick Room's not going to earn you much of anything. What's going to earn you is getting the damage down, getting the walls out, Mega Slowbro just sweeps. So if that's not happening, then at least you can see that when people look at Ice Cold's team, they're not just going to look at this is a Trick Room team. It's like, oh, wow, he can actually build this to work outside of that, which he's already done because he's built fast Pokemon on a Trick Room team, which is fine because that's standard usually when you have like the Weavile to come in and clean up after Trick Room was done and after all the Trick Roomers did their stuff. But that's cool that he can build on both spectrums of what the original intention was and still find other ways to work about his sets. That's flexibility, and that wins this tournament, right? Not just if you don't have the super standard, awesome built team like someone like Traverse City Thundurus or I Am Groot or the likes of even, what Sarasota Suicunes had. Like if you don't have that kind of team, but you can still show that you can bring multiple strategies and make your team work, that's a good thing, right? That's good for the future, because then imagine now if he actually gets an even better Shraffram in future seasons. Not saying his season's over now, but like imagine now Initiator is building this repertoire up where he can show that he can make things work or try and make things work, and he's not afraid to experiment. And now he could take an official strat and twist it. I like that. That.
Yeah.
That's ProPokePodcast.
This is a huge experience that I'm sure he's going to take on with him and help morph him to just be the best him that he can be.
Papa Gamma giving out the gold medals.
Listen, man, it's true because I've fought this dude just in randos, and he's a really good strategic battler in my opinion. But then again, I'm not the great.
Why does everybody bring up randos and monotype?
Listen, randos are the real man's.
You know what?
Meta, okay.
I want to actually. We're going to talk about that. We're adding an extra section to this because.
Oh God, no.
No. Because what I want to do is I want to clarify the quality of practice that can help you for different things in the game. But we won't worry about that for now. For now, let's just keep going. That was set one. We usually take the most time on the first set, and then everyone else just kind of gets like 3 minutes. So let's just move on to the next one, which was the Golden State Greninjas versus the Sarasota Suicunes. And Gamma.
Yes.
I want to put World Leader on a freaking golden throne over a colony that looks at him like a demigod, because he, and I'm going to say this with the utmost respect, he dumpstered the Sarasota Suicunes. He dumpstered them. And not in a way that you would expect in terms of, like, it was imbalanced. The way that he played that match, I said last week was his best battle. He just took week 2 success and pasted it here and took a 2-0.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
I have him on a gold throne. You're just
listen,
like,
you have him on a gold
good.
pedestal. You know what the people there bowing down and chanting are saying?
Now what?
Fire, water, grass, core. Fire, water, grass, core. No, that was a big thing for him, especially with the amount of work that Empoleon did.
Oh god.
That
Empoleon's so good.
There's a reason it's called Empoleon because it's a leader, man. It knows what's up.
Empoleon is so good for World Leader. He needed that this season. He really just needed a super awesome core to pivot around, because then you can get so creative like he does and just bring anything you want. Mega Venusaur Empoleon Gliscor has literally been the godsend for this man. I am so happy that he could show off what he could do when he can actually just live more than 2 hits and not have to rely on a weather status.
Not even just those 3. That Flygon put in work too. It was taking those one shots on the Hoopla.
More like Hoopla uncrowned.
Yeah, I see. You guys can't tell, but he's doing a really.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting skinny now, so like that noob jiggle thing is starting to look like a skeleton dance. I don't got as much jiggle. It's more about the. Actually, is it more of a wiggle then? If it's not jiggle, is it wiggle? What is it?
I'll give you the jiggle. I got the jiggle.
I don't want to see the jiggle. This has been not a good episode for those who are young and listen to this. I heavily apologize. 30 minutes in. Is it 30 minutes? Is it even 30 minutes? Oh my god, we're not even 30 minutes in. Oh, it is 30 minutes. Wow. Hey, I was. Ooh, I'm getting good at this. That's scary.
Go back to jiggling. Oh god, no, back. Okay, stop.
No, Scarf Flygon, I think, was like we had noted that in order for him to win this, because he didn't have Mega Aerodactyl, we need to see that one Pokemon that was gonna come in and do a bunch of damage when was needed. What does he do? He brings an offensive He brings was it 3 attack? Like Earthquake, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, which destroys Fire, Water, Grass.
To the Pokepaste.
Go to the Pokepaste, because he literally brought 3 moves that dumpsters the defensive core of Sarasota Suicunes, right? And then...
U-turn, Stone Edge, Outrage, and Iron.
No, I was talking about Mega Venusaur.
Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Earthquake, Synthesis.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was literally the 3 attacks that will handle the Fire, Water, Grass core, which is intelligent for him to pick up on. And then he has Flygon, who's going to clean up the scraps with Scarf. If that didn't work, it would have been bad for him. And what was really going to stop him was that Salamence. But we got a slight surprise from that Salamence. It wasn't Flyinium Z. It was Psychium Z.
Oh, my goodness. Now I remember that. Yeah.
So, for those who don't understand how Z Crystals work, Z Crystals still, with the attack, take on stab. So, the problem with Psychium Z, it's not a problem with running the Zen Headbutt per se, but for you to get more value out of an attack that you're saving specifically for one Pokemon to kill it, Flyinium Z was a one-shot. Psychium Z had a very low chance that it was going to kill, even with prior damage. So... Flyinium Z would have made more sense because it would have handled the Mega Venusaur, and it would have hit, like, if you go look back on the battle, it was like 68% crit as a Psychium Z, as a Shattered Psyche attack into a Gliscor. If that was flying and also crit, that would have potentially killed. I don't know the actual damage on that. I would like to see that, but...
I'm looking for it.
You know what? Well, he's not going to have it, so let's build it. I'm going to have to take his team and just kind of build it against the Venusaur.
It did 86% against Venusaur.
Yes, but what I want to do is I want to see how much Fly would have done.
Oh, it would have... You did this math already. It would have
I guessed.
I did not. It was like a 97% or something like that. I swear to God.
I can only assume 68% crit. It was how much? How much did he do to the Gliscor in game 1?
Oh, let's see.
It was in game 1. You'd have to look at.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up.
Math on. Oh, I'm not on stream. Ha
Math on. Was it really early that he did that? Yeah. Okay. 74% against the Gliscor.
So 74%. So if you add 50% to that, it should kill. But let's confirm. If this was, let's change Zen Headbutt to Fly.
Fly has a higher base power, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
Stab. And Stab, which is
Well,
really...
yeah, plus his stab.
Yeah.
And his physical. So.
Oh, good God. Oh, yeah, this has to kill, because I'm telling you right now, Fly at stock is 65 to 76. So, if we were to just take the damage and click Z, 126 to 148. So, if you're going to bring, and this is just for future knowledge, this is not to bash on Gamer's decision per se, it is something that did actually somewhat cost him game 1 especially, and then really put him into the back foot for the rest of it, knowing that that damage was going to be as good, considering Fly was going to be used specifically for that, or just to put pressure down on something that has to take the hit. There's no bulky steel type to take that hit. There's no bulky rock type who's going to want to take that hit. It's going to hurt no matter what. Is you want to be running that most valuable Z Crystal. I think he said he wanted to use like every Z Crystal or something on Salamence. I think I missed that in chat. Whatever, nonetheless. Gamer could not break through that defensive core enough, right? And that's funny to say because Gamer has the Fire, Water, Grass core in Mega Blastoise and Celatran. So whether you run it offensively or defensively, defense at the end of the day won this, couldn't break through, got a ton of value coming out from World Leader's side, and it just fell all in his favor. There's not much more to say about that.
There really isn't.
No, like Game 2 Slurpuff. Gamma, do you want to explain the Game 2 Slurpuff?
All right. Well, when it comes to the Slurpuff, I was questioning it. I'm not sure why he brought it on, other than maybe for the Flagon, but the Flagon and maybe sort of the Infernape, not really though. He had a Drain Punch, Belly Drum, Play Rough set, I'm assuming. I didn't understand why when he threw it out onto rocks and then proceeded to Belly Drum, because it left him with almost no health. And that's from the amount of times that I ended up getting that set in randoms, it was not smart to Belly Drum after taking a bunch of damage. I don't feel that it was the right play, and either he could have thrown it out earlier or he could have tried to get rid of those rocks somehow.
So you're more critical of the timing rather than the actual bring?
More the timing, yeah.
I would agree with you on that. Mainly because I don't think it's necessarily about the damage that it took from the rocks. It's the fact that it was so early into the match, and you're not. It's not even just saying like we'd have to look at the damage, right? We're just kind of thinking about this, and I could have did all the damage calcs and sounded super professional, but then you wouldn't be listening to ProPokePodcast and Gamma. You'd be listening to actually good casters. So. Yeah. If you want those damage calcs, go do it. Go have some fun. See, we didn't want to take the fun away from you. We're not thinking in terms of we want to sound the best. We're thinking in terms of how much fun can we give to our viewers to do math.
Let's give them homework.
Yeah, homework.
I want it on my desk by next week.
Ship it over to twitch.tv/Amagumby. People are actually going to go Amagumby and be like pleasantly surprised it's not you.
Yeah.
I mean, pleasantly in a nice way. But yeah, like the timing. I think the timing of the Slurpuff wasn't about the damage. It was the fact that you still have the Gliscor, which is super healthy. You have, if your return is gonna kill Mega Venusaur enough, cool. Empoleon is still alive, as we saw. Yeah, Drain Punch is a thing, but you now risk the burn because the Empoleon was in when it came in. And of all things, it came in on the Empoleon. So it's like you have super bulky Pokemon that could probably still take a hit from it, and if it can't, then I'm completely wrong. It's like, well, it would have worked if you didn't get burned. But you're taking such a giant risk in the beginning of the turn, in the beginning of the game, and you also have to think there was priority. He didn't know priority about the priority on Cloyster until game 2, but you already saw Mach Punch. So if you just start taking damage when you're not getting kills, yeah, you could heal with Drain Punch. But imagine now if you just fail, switches into things to make your Drain Punch fail. And things are able to take enough hits and you just get destroyed by Sludge Bomb, Gliscor just sits in there. Like, the concept is, if he had just not gotten burned, yeah, it might have looked really good to do a bunch of damage. But if he's going to rely on something like that, did he have something better to bring? Is it, like, the other thing I would say is the Unburden makes sense for the likes of outspeeding the Flygon, right? That makes perfect sense. I got outspeed, one shot with Play Rough. Yeah, sure. But I'm very scared because you're using a Pokemon that, yes, has moves that can hit, but that Mega Venusaur, I don't remember how much damage it had on it, But if World Leader had played a little bit, like World Leader in Game 2 even kind of, I would say, lost a bit of momentum using a couple of moves that didn't make quite sense, and actually actually took a lot more damage on his Pokemon that he needed to if he had just played it out standardly and remembered what Game 1 looked like for him. But if you're going to play it off to, well, he could have won if he had just not gotten burned, well, then yeah, and he got burned, and that was a giant risk, and then on top of that, it's like, once he loses that was even like a giant shining hope for him. So, I don't know. I'm not good enough to tell if it's luck or not.
In hindsight, I honestly, you know what would have been a good pick? Pull out his Licky Licky. I feel like the Licky Licky could have at least done some more damage than the Slurpuff. Just because of the moveset. It had Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Zen Head.
So Zen Headbutt hits the Venusaur. Thunderbolt hits the Empoleon.
Yep. And then Ice Beam hits that Gliscor.
So that was his answer to World Leader's defensive core.
Wait, did I mix up?
Wait, no. Licky's on his team?
Yeah, Licky... Wait.
Uh-oh, where are you?
Yeah, Licky Licky's on his team. It's right under the... Wait, am I mixed?
What are you doing? What team are you looking at?
I'm looking at the right team. I'm looking at the Sarasota Suicunes.
Okay.
They had Licky Licky with Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Zen Headbutt. It's right under the Slurpuff.
Huh.
I'm not crazy.
So
it could have done so much work.
And the fact that it was...
Ice Beam is four times damage to Flygon and Gliscor.
Once more for the people who didn't hear you the first 2 times.
It could have done 4 times damage to the Flygon and the Gliscor, and it could have done decent damage to the Empoleon and the Cloyster and the Venusaur and the not the Infernape. Infernape's whatever.
You have Zen Headbutt for Infernape.
I guess. Yeah.
But it's gonna get destroyed first, but you know.
Punch.
Dude, yeah. That better was it max HP, max at special attack?
Max HP, max special defense. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so it's
and a sassy nature.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Neutral nature.
No, Sassy's not neutral.
I thought Sassy was neutral.
Sassy is plus special defense minus speed.
I'm thinking serious.
You think it's serious?
Okay.
And not the one from Azkaban.
But still, it could have done a bunch of work.
That one might be hard to argue because of the Infernape. And if he doesn't have any attack investment, it most likely is a 2-hit KO. And because especially defensive, you're taking a fair amount of damage if not getting killed by that Infernape with prior damage, so maybe that's why he's thinking the Slurpuff made sense. Like, I don't think the Slurpuff was a bad call, I just think the timing of it was a bit off, and maybe even a tiny bit forced. But nonetheless, we're not going to hang on that. The point was... It's hindsight, and World Leader really, at the end of the day, had the better defense that did more, right? They both have great defense, but he did more during that series, and he just felt more straightforward to his goal, right? He just, like, you know, we're not looking at Psyche Z, we're looking at the items and everything else that's going to bring him to success, and that's what I want to see more of from him. That's World Leader, man. He's surging already, right? And now I want to really, really see him against better players, because no, I do not expect him off the top of my head to be like, yeah, he's ready to take out I Am Groot 2-0. Yeah, he's ready to take out Traverse City Thunders. Yeah, he's ready to take out Fortnite Ninjas, right? Yeah, he's ready to take out Manchester Manectric, no problem, right? Like, I'm not expecting him to just suddenly be like, yeah, I'm top 4, look at me, I am World Leader, I have Thunder Punch, but I do want to see how well he does in those situations, because even taking one game off, I'll be like, holy crap, right? Like, good, great, I'm awesome. If he wins it, awesome, right? I'm not discrediting his ability to be able to win against these players. Based on the odds of what we've seen in the past, it's still tough to look over numbers, and people do get better over time, which is awesome. So now I'm excited to see, well, how much closer does it look? How much pressure does it put? Because right now, if people are winning because hazards are basically free and people aren't punishing enough players to get them out of that area, how much can he do with that? He did it to, oh wait, he already played Traverse City Thunder, so we already saw how well he could do against that, right? But how much more can he do against these other players?
Yeah.
Huh?
You took the words right out of my mouth, Noob.
I'm sure I did not. You're just being lazy.
Listen, man.
What? I always listen.
I don't know where it's going.
I
had my spiel with the Licky Licky, okay?
You did. And that was a very good... for you, for Licky Licky.
Thanks.
I was proud of that analysis.
Thank you. I try.
We're not professionals. We got to learn somewhere.
I hope somebody I hope somebody picks up that licky licky.
Don't
I
bring
hope
me back.
Cincino stays in the
Cincino is in the trade pool. God.
I hope it stays there forever. Nobody pick it up, just so I don't have. Just please, just don't pick it up.
Is back out of the tournament. It had so much promise, Gamma. It has so much. No. I will tell you right now. I've been talking with a couple of coaches, and they're actually telling me that Cincino does crush a particular coach. I'm not going to reveal any information, but there are eyes on Cincino.
You pick it up, I'm done with you.
You're already done with them. Don't lie to the people.
Hey, listen. I believe in all of them. Okay.
Yeah. Would you like me to show the what's going on in the back room before we start doing the podcast?
Go ahead. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah, we're really just talking about our days, and Gamma talks about something anime, yells out some Dio crap, and goes from there.
You thought it was...
Oh, no.
No, but it was actually me, Dio.
You thought we keep it in the back room, but it is I, Dio, in the front room.
Muda.
I still don't know what that means. I just think of mud every time you say that. Muddy water.
It means useless.
Oh, really? You just call me useless?
Yeah. It's for when he punches people, because he's, like, super egotistical. Oh my god, noob, you're Dio.
I'm not egotistical!
You're one dog away from you're one dog kick away from becoming Dio. I'm kidding.
So I'm Dio because I've kicked a dog before by accident.
What the?
Okay, to be fair, when the dog is chasing you around when you're 13 years old and is
okay, that's different.
Chasing, yeah, I had to kick the dog. Well, I couldn't kick it because it actually made me slip and I was super bleeding out of both my calves. Not the point. I'm not egotistical. It's just a really good act that people read me as egotistical. I'm just confident.
All right? I was joking.
Although I will argue that egotistical people do say that they're confident. I'm just going to defend myself and I'll be like, if you really know me, you know who I am. Gamma, you know who I am.
I know who you are. You're not
Here's
Dio.
$10. Thank you. Right through the floor.
Dio kicked a dog because he's an asshole. You kicked a dog because it was chasing you.
Because it was the asshole.
For your life.
Because it was the mean one.
Yeah. I just realized his team had a bunch of JoJo references.
You didn't realize that. You said it twice as we reviewed the VODs.
Must I go over the point that I have the memory of a goldfish?
Yeah, I know, Gamma. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to the next one. The feature matchup of the week for week 3 was Traverse City Thunders versus I Am Groot. This was awesome to watch. Were really high-end battles.
This match was amazing. At the first match, Sweet D took his time. He gauged his opponent. TC Thunders, they were making some damage. They set up. They did what they needed to do. I Am Groot came back, went to the drawing board, picked up exactly what they needed, and fought back as hard as they could. And I think it was a really good match. It was an exciting match. I feel that both coaches did well. It was down to the wire, and good on you guys.
Inspiring.
It was more inspiring before my internet cut out.
You just can't keep anything hidden, can you?
I don't care.
That's true. There's nothing lost with it. Yeah, I think Game 1 was definitely defined by the Gyarados sweep. Game 2 was definitely defined by the superior Suicune, which became the superior Pokemon in that entire match. Scarf Superior made a bunch of things happen for Sweet D in the second game. And honestly, we have to... That's the most beautiful that Pokemon can get when it comes to... Here's a strategy where you either win before that hyper-aggressiveness gets done, or you answer the hyper-aggressiveness and you win. And that's exactly what it was. The moment Sharkin got Gyarados in and set it up in Game 1, toast. When Sweet D answered that and didn't let him have time to set up, Sweet D won.
Can't forget those stone edges in the row.
You want to talk about the stone edges? Do you want to give him the mathematical possibilities of that? Do you know how to do that?
I don't know how to do math. It was either 3 or 4 stone edges in a row, which is something I did not expect to see. So the luck was on his side, but also the switch-ins were the main foundation to that win. Plus, I just like Superior.
Well, I mean, it's 80% every time because they're not linked together. So every time is an 80% chance to have it.
I understand, but just in general, it's the same with, like, shiny odds. The odds of that happening
is always one, if whatever. I mean, you can have it by whatever method you use, but... Or you used to be able to, I think. Something like that. Either way, the point being, there's It's really hard to say because both played out their strategies the best that they wanted to do. Sweet D did not have the great thing to answer the Gyarados in game 1. He actually got basically played around until Shark King of TC Thunderous just said, yeah, I win. Right? Like, the forfeit was completely valid because it was just done. There's no reason to wait there. And if Sweet D has an idea of what's going to beat it, he might as well just go to his subs then, instead of waiting the whole thing out and just watching his team fall apart. He already knows what he wants to do. He's got 5 minutes after the battle, and he brings out the Serperior. Serperior comes in, starts doing a bunch of damage. Doesn't matter how tanky your Mega Aggron is. We can already say that Mega Aggron was the reason that it was picked up in week 3. It was so phenomenal to do just almost anything against I Am Groot, and that adds more defensive capabilities to him. So the more defensive capabilities he's got, the better that Shark King could try and find his way to get his Volcarona or his Gyarados in the future to sweep. So the match went exactly the way it was going to go. Whoever got their win in wins for good, right? Like, it was just such a volatile matchup, and what really, really tilted it was the Serperior getting up to +4 and just putting down a bunch of damage, living just with enough damage or enough HP to be able to switch in another time, even if you need to come in on the rocks. And there's not really much you could break down on this. I think the only real turn we wanted to look at was in game 2, when it was Gyarados v Hippowdon. Don't you mute, Gamma. We're going into this together.
I don't want to.
You're doing it. So
I want off this crazy ride.
It was Gyarados versus Hippowdon. We see the Hippowdon switch into the Terrakion, assuming that he was going to go for the Dragon Dance. And instead, we see the taunt. Not the waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Dragon Dance. We see the taunt, which is fine on Gyarados. Offensive Gyarados can run taunt. Nothing wrong with that. But he goes for the taunt onto the Terrakion, and that's when the Hail of Stone started to happen. Thoughts, Gamma?
No, I hate to say it, but I don't think that taunt was necessary. It really wasn't. He could have dropped the damage and just kept going with his life. That's all I got to say about that.
So there's a couple ways we could think about it. Right? There's 2 ways we could have gone about this. One, he goes for Dragon Dance, discovers that Hippowdon could have gone for Whirlwind, and just phased him out. His leftover Pokemon were Alolan Raichu, Starmie, and Kabutops. All 3 of these Pokemon have moves to murder Hippowdon if it stays in to go for Whirlwind. The other option is, if he doesn't stay in, even if he stays in and tries to go for the Whirlwind, you go for the Waterfall. Get a bunch of damage off. Right? The chip damage doesn't matter because you're getting one-shot by Scarf Terrakion anyways. Not that he's seen the Terrakion come through, right? Like, we're not talking about, oh yeah, you should have seen this perfect switch, right? Like, yeah, you should have seen how ballsy he was going to be to do that, right? This is talking about getting the best bang for your buck. The taunt to me kind of, like, pressured the wrong time of that match, where damage, like, we calculated, it was like, what, 48 to 52% or something like that, or like 46 to 52 on the Hippowdon with the waterfall.
Yeah, I think it was close to, if not a 2 KO.
It was close to a 2 KO. It wasn't a guaranteed 2 KO, but it was close to a 2 KO. So what I'm looking at here is based on the state that the game was in, he had to risk it, right? He had to get that Gyarados up because it was getting to the point where if Serperior comes back in, it's just going to clean up everything because he's not going to be able to do enough damage. I believe he had Earthquake or Crunch and Waterfall on his Gyarados. So if he gets the double speed up, he wins because he outspeeds Serperior. But if he only gets the +1, Scarf Serperior is outspeeding him and is going to kill him if he takes enough damage from anything, right? Sand could potentially chip him down. All this other stuff is going to bring him into range where if he's not killing, he's going to take damage and the Serperior wins because it takes a hit, or it doesn't take a hit, but it still outspeeds and he has to set up the +2. That's the issue you had to deal with. Suddenly you see this taunt come out and you go, well, he didn't deal damage to anything. Nor did he attempt to go for the all-in. Because in the end, when we saw at the end of the game, when he tried to go for the double DD, we assume he tried to go for the double DD, right? After the Stone Edge hit and one-shot the Gyarados. We assumed that a double DD was happening because double DD wins. So that was like the most crucial moment to watch in that entire series, considering things would just end for both of them, right? Either Gyarados just gets fast and wins, or Terrakion just stays alive and wins with Serperior. Yeah. Because you have the Aqua Jet on your Kabutops, which after rocks would kill Serperior, but it's not going to kill Terrakion. Terrakion wins, right? So those two are just going to clean up the rest of Sharking's team regardless. So Sweet D and Sharking were kind of just both at the end of their win con, right? Like this is what we're left with. This has to hit, or this has to set up the +2. And it went the way of Sweet D, right? Now, I will argue that with the changes that Sweet D made in Game 2, it did give him a lot more opportunities to make pressure happen, because obviously that Superior looming in the back and revealing that it's Scarfed suddenly becomes a lot of... Obviously, the Scarf Superior was not expected, knowing that it's like, well, Scarf Superior seems kind of redundant because it's such a fast Pokemon, but when you need a Pokemon that's going to outspeed Sweepers, it does the job, right? The Volcarona does not feel that comfortable, obviously, with Sand coming up because of the special defense bonus that things like Terrakion would get to tank up the Giga Drain at +1, right? You don't want to risk just getting blasted by rocks. I think the build was perfect. I think Double Scarf has shown more value in this tournament than any other season, I think, personally. I don't think I remember a metagame where Double Scarf already has gotten so much value as a strategy, because it seems like speed tiers, as we were mentioning, speed tiers seem to be very much, well, it's always an enormous deal, but like even here, it's really, really, really big to be the faster and the more aggressive killer of a Pokemon than
it's
just setting up.
It's a huge concern, yeah.
I don't even know if it's a concern. I think it's just the metagame. I think it's just the metagame
No,
where
I
people
mean,
have to remember.
like you should be thinking about it.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Like, obviously,
so
I was going to say, like, Superior doesn't care if it's Scarfed or not, because it sets itself up with Contrary Leaf Storm. It doesn't care, right? It stays super fast. It's basically a +1. It's a +1 speed, from it coming in. So it's almost like you use a special shift gear by just using Leaf Storm and having Scarf. So there's nothing wrong with it, right? And it doesn't mean you necessarily think about it. You can miss these types of moves. So this is one of those situations where you just kind of sit there and go, huh, yeah, that's a good idea, right? And maybe you don't even have, like, if I look at Sharking's team, I don't see him having an answer to that. I think Superior outspeeds all of his stuff at base anyways, so Scarf just really makes the most sense when it's going to do a lot of damage. And if you look at the team that he was bringing, yeah, it does a lot of damage. Starmie and Kabutops aren't going to appreciate it. Gyarados after Stealth Rocks isn't going to appreciate it, maybe at +2. I don't know the damage calc off the top of my head, obviously, because it's me, but there's just, it makes the most sense, and you just kind of have to sit there and go, all right, cool. What else am I going to do, right? It's all things aside, the fact that it felt, and that's the way it always feels like playing, especially against TC Thunderous, where you have to win before the setup happens. That was an example of not only in Game 2 bringing an adaptation that gets you more time to get your own win con in, but the forethought to stop or even try to curve when Sharking makes that hyper-aggressive move to win is a big skill. It's a huge skill to develop, right? Hyper-aggression, usually, as I've mentioned before, a lot of people say, yeah, hyper-aggro is easy. You just bring the guys who hit the hardest. You just slam your face in. You hit the right Pokemon. You put out the right Pokemon at the right time, get a little bit of foresight, 1-2 turns ahead, and you're good to go, right? To beat this is difficult when you have random teams and when you're given the cards you're dealt. So that's one of the cards you took out of the deck yourself. But regardless, it comes down to it where, yeah, Sweet D made a fantastic call with the adaptations. I think Sharking played it out phenomenally too. Took game 1 handily, got himself in, and had the right build to begin with. And that's pretty much a textbook example of what a series of 2 can look like. You go from really well prepared and doesn't need information game 1, knows he has an advantage game 1. Game 2 comes in, finds has the moveset that's just going to happen to manage worst case scenarios for yourself, and wins it. Even if it came down to that one situation.
It was all dependent on Sweet D swapping in what he needed to swap in.
And hitting the Stone Edge.
They both... Yeah. It's 4 Stone Edges in a row. I'm salty.
The only one that super mattered was the first one of that series, hitting the Gyarados.
Oh, no.
That's obviously all that mattered, right? Once the Gyarados was dead, that was it.
Yeah. The Gyarados couldn't set up like it needed to. No. Like it did in the first game.
No, he curved it.
All thanks to that Stone Edge.
You could
80% Stone Edge.
Yeah, you could think about what was the moveset on that Starmie. I had it and I lost it.
I can find out real quick.
I was somewhat it didn't have Psyshock. I think that's the point. I was kind of surprised to not.
Scald, Toxic, Rapid Spin, and Recover. So it was a failure. well, not phaser. It was a spike slash.
This is spinner. Spinner
tank,
support.
Yeah. It was spinner support, yeah.
I don't know how I feel when the Starmie kept trying to go in onto the Blissey and going for Toxic. I know, obviously, like, I'm not really thinking that hard about it right now because it just kind of popped in my mind.
It missed those hard, too.
Well, it wasn't even about the missing. It's the fact
right.
you're using against Natural Cure Blissey. Right? Like, Natural Cure is just what you're going to run on the Blissey. And to get the Toxic down when Sweetie's making the right play and he's not trying to heal himself. He's like, no, screw you. I'm going to toss your fish. And we're just going to go from there. I'm going to throw it like a shuriken. Like, the damage that he was taking, yes, he can recover. But I'm very curious to see what maybe Psyshock would have done. Because, yeah, the Skull makes sense. Yes, the Toxic obviously is going to be for maybe, I got to think, like, Mandibuzz, I guess. So he doesn't go in on Mandibuzz, like, he could just answer the Mandibuzz more. So it's not the worst thing. It just kind of makes me think if there was something better than Starmie, right? Did he have another Defogger, or did he have another, like, I got to look at his team again really quickly.
He did not, I don't think.
Let me look at his team here.
Yeah, no, there was no Defog.
He has Archeops for Defog. He has Serena, which was built with Rapid Spin, actually. I believe it was Scarf Rapid Spin.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, Kabutops didn't have Spin, which is fine, because it was offensive, it was choice banned. Even though it's, like, Scarf Serena with Rapid Spin's perfectly fine. It just makes me think, with the Archeops, or just something that could just really scare out the Blissey, but still give him that Defog or Spin support. I don't know. It's too difficult to really call, because the series was really, really good. And to critique that deep would be like, well, regardless, it still mattered about that Superior that was scarfed, and it was a great call by Sweet D, and it still mattered that when Sharkin got the Gyarados set up, that was the win. So that's really what it came down to. That's more or less just picking on a tiny interaction between Starmie and Blissey based on the movesets. So there's no real reason to go that hard into it. I want to really emphasize that is another example in the Pro Pokeball of what can happen with adaptation with trades. Why substitutions make a lot of sense. And this is incredibly important to talk about because in our last match that we had in week 3, there was questions around the substitutions that didn't pay off. And that was in the match between the Lunar Cresselias and Manchester Manectric. Tyler Poke Trainer versus Ivan. Gamma.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts, please.
Oh boy. Thanks for asking as soon as I eat something.
I can join you.
Mm-hmm. If everything was so they brought Pokemon out. Oh god.
I have to point out also that this is being recorded really late at night, so if you have any idea of the quality of our pocket full of
late
showdowns,
at night?
Yeah.
It's literally about to be 4 in the morning.
It's late at night. Most people don't consider the morning to be the morning. They consider it to be night until you go to bed.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'm just giving to that half of the population. But if you know the quality of our pocket full of showdown when recorded past 3 a.m., I've now brought that quality to the Pro Podcast. You're welcome, listeners.
Yeah.
At least I called you listeners this time.
Yelling. I'll just get my consistent yelling out.
Why were you yelling in that episode?
I was just mad. I was mad because Tim's a dingle.
But it wasn't even just yelling. You were going rampage. Rampage monkey. I don't remember what that rampage monkey's name is. It Rampage? Was his name Rampage? Like the game where you went around as the different animals, you're just destroying cities.
Lizzie.
No.
And that monkey.
Yeah, the giant monkey. Wasn't that named Rampage? Or did he have a name?
That was the game. The game
was Rampage.
The game was called. Oh my god! Let me get the monkey. Rampage.
Could just gone with King Kong, but I'm going with the monkey from Rampage or the gorilla from Rampage.
Wow, that was a really bad movie. Apparently. I know the lizard. So that's it.
Lizzie the lizard.
Yeah,
that's lame.
Because I played the arcade game at a Denny's back when I was a kid.
Oh, Denny's! Wow. You should come to our Wimpies. We don't have Denny's. We got Wimpies. Go Canada.
Isn't that the name of that dude that ate like a crap ton of burgers from Popeye?
Wimpy?
Wimpy. Yeah, Wimpy.
I don't know. We don't have. Well, we do have Popeye, but
I don't know. I mean,
I've never eaten at Popeye.
Pretty sure that was it.
Real talk.
George. His name was George the Gorilla.
George wrecked cities.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is what happens when you get curious and grow up into an adult that's curious.
Yeah, George the Gorilla, Lizzie the Dinosaur, and Ralph the Wolf. I liked going to the buildings and eating the people because I was a weird kid.
No, you were a normal kid playing Rampage.
I mean, you're supposed to destroy the building.
Exactly. You're like you don't play a vampire game as a vampire and not suck the enemy's blood.
Guess.
Like, what are you gonna do? Bring him out for tea? No, you're gonna suck their blood. You're a vampire. You're a vampire, Gamma.
Okay. So I guess we should get back to the match.
Do we really need to? This is a 4 a.m. podcast now.
Yeah, I guess. But
let's talk about cheese. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, actually, let me get some cheese. I'm hungry now.
Okay, I'll take it. You go grab the cheese. I asked for your thoughts, but I'll give my thoughts first. Okay.
No, I'll give my thoughts. It's all
okay,
right.
go. But don't rush because you want cheese.
I kind of want cheese.
Don't
I think Ivan had the upper hand between these two matches, just team-wise. Or not team-wise, I'm sorry. Play-to-play wise. Just with how he answered everything. He was able to get some stuff off that I wasn't seeing that coming, but he pulled it off. Creselia's saw a couple misplays. You know, it's something to look back on, maybe check out.
What's your definition of a couple?
I'm trying to be nice here, man.
I'm not gonna call them misplays. I'm gonna call them oversights. Huge oversights.
You know what? I'm just gonna let you fill that out then. You tell me how many. Tell me. You tell me how many. No,
2 games worth. How's about that? A couple of games with the
Why
mistakes.
are you hitting me?
I'm sorry, my hand slipped and I hit the desk and now it hurts. It's okay. It doesn't actually hurt. I just wanted to say that to get sympathy points.
All I gotta say is that 3 things on Ivan's side. Nidoqueen did work.
Yep.
Absol did work.
Yep.
Wish
yes.
Saved a bunch of his Pokemon.
Yes. And that was the preview and the exact things we were looking during the preview going, these are the Pokemon that need to die. These are the Pokemon that are going to kill Lunar Cresselias, and those are the Pokemon that need the Lunar Cresselias to kill. And it didn't happen. Now go get your cheese. I'll talk for 10 minutes.
No, it's okay. I'm here.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate you taking me over a block of cheese. Thank you, sir.
You know what? Actually, I take it back. I'm getting the cheese.
I don't blame you, really. Cheese is good, man.
It is. It's very sharp cheddar.
Let's get into semantics. So, Assault Vest Nidoqueen, first of all, did so much disgusting work. I was actually slightly losing consciousness from how much work it did, just because it knocked me off my chair so much. And this is
Physical
not...
implications, man.
I'm sorry?
Physical repercussions from a Pokemon game, man.
I was so blown back.
That's
Knocked
something.
back. Right? Just right through the chest of a... Right? It was...
He's making a weird face.
Thank you for commentating on my physicality. I was actually making a weird body thing of a... You know?
He's like flying back in his chair like the Matrix or some shit.
This is why I bring him. He's a cheerleader, he's a great dad, and now he's also my physical verbalist, or whatever you call it.
I'm a great dad. I'm more of a disappointed dad.
There were a lot... I don't even know where we were in the podcast. That was a lot of cuts.
We were talking about the Nidoqueen having an assault vest.
Yeah, Nidoqueen having the assault vest.
It's like a monster.
We knew that these Pokemon need to be killed off, and Lunar Cresselias had the answers. They had Shaman. They had Mega Manectric, right? Their Pidgeot was gone. Pidgeot would have gotten a lot of value, but it was gone by a ban. So now you're left with, okay, let's use Tyrantrum. Let's use Shaman. Let's use Excadrill. Let's use Mega Manectric. And none of them did anything. None of them. None of them.
I'm concerned with all these faces.
I'm just giving you more faces to make fan art later. I think the first huge... Oh, I gotta clip that. The first huge moveset I need to look at is the Scarf Excadrill. With no spin, right? Those hazards were so harsh on Lunar Cresselias because they were playing it out with the Wish Sylveon, right? It's not the worst thing. The primary issue is when you, again, it's going back to that first series between Ice Cold and Fortnite Ninjas. When you have to play reactively, and when you are falling behind, and you're not being forced to make real out of tune plays, that's too easy for Ivan. He's got a low Momola, he's got a Regenerate. It's exactly like freaking Slowking, right? It's too easy, right? You're not crippling it. You're not threatening with hazards. You're not making the value of it switching out less than the value of it switching back in. There's no pressure, right? And the worst part about this is game one, yeah, you could be thrown off guard with the Assault Vest and the Queen. You don't expect it maybe, and then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, well, okay, well in the game two I got to bring something that's just going to wreck it. I've got the Excadrill that's scarfed, which is okay if it was used correctly, and I don't feel like it was used right at all. I don't even know why it stayed in game two. Because I was kind of afraid, because I'm looking at it going, okay, I kind of know the moveset because I checked it out by accident while looking at all the Pokebase. So I'm going, what is this going to do against Ivan? And I'm realizing, okay, it outspeeds Mega Absol, it gets him in and gets the damage to clean up, and that would have been fine if he had damage to back it up. But he didn't. Nor did he get the damage off, right? And in game two, when you see the Assault Vest Nidoqueen, I think, okay, Tyrantrum with Earthquake. Duh. Destroy it. Right? Just go. You have Choice Band with Earthquake. Destroy the Nidoqueen. The Nidoqueen can't hurt you back except with Ice Beam. And that's worth a trade to me because the Nidoqueen's being such a pain in your side. And then you bring it with the Shaman. You bring it with the Mega Manectric. You have to deal with Roselia. You have to deal with Togekiss. And you have to deal with the Alomomola. Right? Those were the three defensive. So what do you got? You already have Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower on your Mega Manectric. That handles all three. What's your next win condition? Okay, get him in when they're all hurt to finish it off by being able to switch at your advantage. So you switch advantage with Mega Manectric on the two Pokemon that don't want to take it. Then you have something that comes in and kills the Roselia. What's the answer to the Roselia?
Excadrill?
That was the thing. It was Excadrill. But it's not an answer. It's not. When you have to sacrifice so much HP to answer it, yeah, that's going to work. But he never got it because, again, the Alomomola sits in the back and says, okay, your Earthquake does 38-something%, and I'm just going to wish it all and heal him back off. So what was the play? Where did the Shaman come into this? Where was the Tyrant? I mean, we're going to discredit. We're not even going to look at that head smash miss. That sucked, right? That was really, really unfortunate for Tyler Poke Trainer, because the idea is not to only berate and just say, like, yeah, this is all lost because he didn't make the right plays. There is a notable amount of turns to go look back on and say, why did I keep Excadrill in on Alomomola? I think that's the biggest crime, in my opinion, because he's not even revealing that it's scarfed. But when you're only using Earthquake and you're sitting there going, well, what else are you going to do here? You know what I mean? It seemed off character, because Tyler Poke, we saw in the preseason, he was great. He's a really good player, and that feels almost of a somewhat
a little minor slip up.
Yeah, it was like a slippery slope for him, where he's just sort of like, well, I've got nothing to hit this with, but that's an incorrect thing, because Shaman can literally dump all over Alomomola. Toxic gets healed off by Aromatherapy or Natural Cure. Seed Flare destroys it. If you get the special defense drop, which is an 80% chance. Oh wait, he's got Natural Cure, right? Is he Natural Cure or Serene Grace?
Yeah.
No, is he? No, he has Serene Grace, doesn't he?
Cure.
Is it Natural Cure?
Hold on, let me double check.
Yeah, it is Natural Cure. Yeah, it's Natural Cure.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't get 80% SPDF drops, only 40%.
Yeah, actually, looking at the Pokebase, just in hindsight, he only has one way of defogging. He doesn't have a Rapid Spinner. Nobody's Rapid Spinner.
Well, the Rapid Spinner is Excadrill.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Rapid Spin.
Exactly.
So I'm a little confused as to why there wasn't one. I know he brought out the Gligar, and I don't remember if this is how it went down. I think it got immediately knocked off by Mega Absol. Was that it?
No, it came in on the Mega Absol, got knocked out, and got Ice Beamed in game one.
Yeah, because
he had another spinner in Hitmonchan.
I forgot it gets that.
Yes.
Does it have it
did have it.
Oh, wow, it did. I take it back. I'm
now,
sorry, Tyler.
This would have done nothing, though, against Togekiss, so I don't blame him for not bringing this. I honestly think the Gligar was the best play. Like, the main things that he brought in game one, all he had to do, in my opinion, right? Because here's the thing. You can't even look at Ivan, because Ivan didn't have to do anything significant. So I can't even critically look at his team and go, yeah, game one, you got away with it. Game two, he should have gotten smashed. Because here's what you do. Seismitoad has Earthquake for that Nidoqueen. So you tank up a hit, and then you use the Earthquake, right? Seismitoad tried its best, but it got slowly worn down because Tyler is keeping it in too often against the wrong Pokemon. They're staying in a turn or two extra. Again, the Excadrill and the Alomomola. It's like, make the switches. You have Water Absorb. Force that thing. Yeah, you get Toxic. Trade the Toxic. There was a miss of Toxic on the Alomomola. That sucked. Yes, you missed the Head Splash on Roselia. That sucked. If you go incredibly offensive and just start ramming face into Ivan's team, Tyrantrum destroys this with Head Smash, by the way. But the other thing is, the more damage you get down, you're forcing Ivan to make the plays. And I think that if everything had hit and he had gone a more aggressive team than with this Excadrill, like if he had dropped what did I say before? Drop Excadrill, keep Gligar, and put in Tyrantrum. I think that was the play, to keep the Gligar, even though Mega Absol was going to wreck him, because he's got now Tyrantrum, so he could go manage it, right? He's got Miltank to go fight the other teams, because now he's also got Toxic to try and take on the Alomomola. He can just do damage here and there, but he's also got the rock support. He's also got Milk Drink. So, Sap Sipper, or funnily enough, it wasn't actually Sap Sipper. I assumed it's Sap Sipper. It was actually Thick Fat. So if it was Sap Sipper, okay, Roselia can't even touch it with anything other than Sludge Bomb, which is what ended up happening. I don't blame him for not making that check, but nonetheless, if you keep Shaman in, you keep Gligar in, maybe not even Gligar, if you keep Shaman in, you bring Tyrantrum, you stop keeping your bulky Pokemon that can't do more than 40% on the Alomomola on the Alomomola, and you start just keep forcing the issue, and you have that Spinner or Defogger because Gligar has got your Defog support, I think you scare Ivan basically to death. He loses everything. And the damage is going to be too much for him trying to heal off everything, so something is going to have to die. And we've already pointed out that in Ivan's team, the moment one of his three falls, he falls apart. The whole team is predicated on him staying alive. So as long as his team is alive, as long as defensive core is alive, Ivan's alive.
No, you literally explained it all. That's exactly what's up.
I think it's a building. I think it was a building win at the end of the day, a team building win at the end of the day for Ivan. I don't think by any means Ivan, because I want to give more credit to Ivan, considering that he literally took the game, and as we mentioned, it's like, take the game, take the points, run with it, right? The movesets were wrong predictions, didn't bring the correct things to be able to do it, and as a result, right, Ivan was, actually I talked with Ivan after, and he was saying he was expecting different things, like he was expecting Rock Polish Tyrantrum, which would destroy his whole team, and I agree, like Tyrantrum was the thing that was going to destroy his whole team. But it didn't happen until Game 2, and even then in Game 2, yeah, you have the unfortunate miss, but the most thing was it wasn't enabled. It should have just come in. You could have led with it. Just be like, yeah, hey, what's up, right? And even knowing the Nidoqueen was bulky enough, like I was like, yeah, screw it, I'm going to throw it out whenever because you're not going to hurt it because I don't see Tyrantrum coming in. I've got Ice Beam and all this. So it's like, did he have Ice Beam? Yeah, he had Ice Beam, right? I hope he had Ice Beam.
On who? On
Nidoqueen.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let me double check.
It was, I think, something he can go back to the drawing board and just look at and go, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So it's basically let's go back to the drawing board later and figure out what went wrong here so that if we do meet in the top 6, it's not going to happen the same way. Because I really do think both these players, Ivan didn't get to show how good he is, but in a different way from Tyler Poke, right? I think both of them, like, Ivan won without having to show immense amounts of plays, and Tyler didn't show how good he usually is.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unfair to say. I think that is the cleanest way to really just point that out and go, look, it didn't go well, and it doesn't mean it can't go well again. It just means it's like really, really take another look and not read the meta more, but just realize when you're trying to force a play too much, right? Realize when you're trying to force something to be like, I really want this to work, or, this would make sense, but it didn't happen. It's I don't know. It felt fractured to me.
I have higher hopes for both of them next week.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Do we see both of them next week?
That's a good question. Challenge, here I come.
We do. Yeah, we do. Awesome.
Yep.
Wait, nope. Look at the wrong week. We don't. We only see... No, we see... Wait, what? No, week 4. What am I saying? I keep looking at the wrong week. I'm looking at week 6, and I'm like, oh, not week 6. Then I looked at week 5. I'm like, nope, not week 5.
No, yeah, we'll see both of them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Awesome.
Come on, guys. I believe in you both. Hit it hard.
I mean, this is by no means an attack on skill level or potential or stuff like this. It just felt like an off week, really.
It's just analysis.
Specifically, well, yeah, obviously, but it's like it just felt like an off week for Lunar Cresselia. It was just a bad read on the meta. No big deal. It happens. Certain teams could just win. I do think it was winnable, but it also means that now he's got that knowledge for later. And I'm sure he would look back and go, yeah, this didn't work. And even if he brought Scarf Excadrill, I don't expect to bring Stealth Rock Scarf anymore. I think he would bring Rapid Spin, because that would help pretty hard.
I hope he does.
Yeah. Unless he expected like I'm just thinking, like, maybe he expected offensive Nasty Plot or a Sphere Togekiss, so Ironhead would outspeed and destroy it, but whatever. Whatever. Gamma.
Right. Yes.
It's that time of the show.
Oh no.
It's time for you to show me your moveset.
I don't want to show you anything.
Sorry, wrong show. This is the show where we both bring out a Smogon set and try and get the rules right.
Yep.
We're both still trying
Maybe.
to. We're both still trying to remember the rules, and
Maybe.
Gamma's up by 1 point. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Gamma's ahead. He says he's not illustrious. He's about to be a Show Me Your Moveset champion of Season 5.
Ooh,
If everything keeps up, if I can't trip him up, we're in some deep doo-doo here for the side of the noob supporters, which is not very many of you, but nonetheless, who cares?
I think we picked up a theme this week, right? Did we both agree to do that thing we were thinking about?
Did we both go Little Cup?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we both went Little Cup.
Yeah, we
So,
both went Little Cup.
We both just know that this is Gen 7 Little Cup, right?
Mine isn't.
Okay, but it is still in Little Cup in Gen 7, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so your moveset's coming from which gen?
It is coming from Gen 4.
Oh, cripe. I gotta start being harder on you. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm feeding you these points at this point. All right, I think I have to go first this week.
I think you do, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going for it. Let me just pull up the Little Cup meta.
If not, feel free.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. You ready, Gamma?
Let me just. Mm-hmm.
So this is a Gen 7 moveset.
Okay.
The moveset is Return, Thief, Waterfall, Belly Drum.
Wait a minute.
I think we both agree to like 2 guesses per tier of points. Remember, no looking up the moves. You just gotta look up the tier.
No, I know. The worst part is I think I know what this Pokemon is, but I can't remember. Because I swear to God, when I was looking at them, my Pokemon was somewhat similar to that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
We were talking about what are the chances that you and I are going to pick the same Pokemon. You're like, ooh, it's mathematically impossible for humans. I'm like, yeah.
Listen, I said it's statistically improbable.
No, you didn't. You said basically impossible.
Listen, man, I'm gonna fight you. Could you repeat the moveset? I'm sorry, I kind of forgot a little bit.
Return, Thief, Waterfall, Belly Drum.
Okay. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Maybe Azurill?
Final answer?
Yeah.
That's a solid guess, but no.
Oh shit.
I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it's a good guess. I don't think Azurill learns Thief.
Let me see. Azurill.
Sadly, Azurill is normal fairy type as well, so it wouldn't get any stab.
Yeah,
if they're stabbed to get, but yeah.
Does it get Belly Drum though?
It does.
It doesn't get Belly Drum?
Oh,
No,
Meryl does. Meryl does. Not
idiot.
Azurill, unfortunately. Otherwise, I think it would get very slightly used. Maybe. So I think does it get the likes of Play Rough? It does not. It's trash.
What does this thing even get? It's gross.
Nothing. It gets Return. I think it's just like a Return Scald set. Knock
Wait
off.
a minute.
Yeah, it's got moves. I guess it's got some moves. It's not ridiculous. Soak. Z-Splash. It can use Z-Splash. Z-Splash then die. Ew,
Oh my
so
god.
bad.
Is it what I think it is?
What?
I'm thinking. I just wanted to see if this Pokemon got this move. I hate you.
You can't check the moves, Gamma.
Oh. Well, I'm already down a point.
No, you're
'Cause I
not.
got it
We
wrong.
said 2 guesses per point.
Oh. Well, this was my next guess anyways.
What kind of luck? Yeah, I'm down to 2 points, which means I can start cheating.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you honestly, this was my next guess. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
The buffest wag.
Yes, it's the buffest wag.
It's the buffest wag. I knew it.
It's the buffest wag. You freaking cheater.
I didn't cheat. I was like,
I just looked up a move when you're not supposed to look up the move.
Oh my god! I looked up to see if it could learn it.
You're not. The whole point is to not.
All right, well, take away a point for me, Jesus.
No, you get 3 points. No,
crucify me.
No, that's not worth it. You need to sit here in shame.
Oh my god.
Gamma has officially cheated every single week. In
no,
some
I
way,
haven't.
In some way, you have cheated every single
God.
week.
Hey.
All right, Gamma, give me your.
For those of you that don't know, it was Poliwag, by the way.
That's true. We should say what the actual Pokemon is.
Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready, Noob?
Should I be? Does it matter? I'm behind a point.
Are you ready?
Go. Yes, let's go.
Ready?
Let's go.
Are you ready?
This is gonna be tough.
Ready?
Gen 4 Little Cup. Let's go.
All right, Gen 4 Little Cup. It is Gen 4 Little Cup. Moveset is Waterfall, Return, Brick Break, and Rock Slide.
Ooh, that sounds incredibly familiar. Say it one more time.
Waterfall, Return, Brick Break, and Rock Slide.
I'm gonna say Anorith.
Nope.
No. Ooh.
Close-ish.
Waterfall.
I could see how you get that Pokemon.
Well, that's like 3 of those. I don't remember. I actually played Little Cup from Gen 5 on, so I know that Anorith runs Rock Slide. Not Waterfall. I thought it was a long shot because our model does learn Waterfall, I believe.
It was.
But like, no, what is it again? Rock Slide, Return, Waterfall.
Waterfall, Return, Brick Break.
Brick Break. Yeah, I can run Brick Break too.
Mm-hmm.
Waterfall. Which one did you learn? Waterfall. Waterfall, Return, Brick Break, and Rock Slide. Oh, is it Tortuga?
No. It's not. Am I actually fooling you? Is this it's a miracle?
Wait, Tortuga's Gen 5, right? Oh, I'm stupid. I just threw that one. That's fine.
No, it's alright. I'll let you guess again just because it's really close. Ish. Actually, no, it's not. What am I talking about?
No, it's not. It can't be. How many of these Pokemon can learn that moveset? What did you do in Gen 4? What is happening in Gen 4 here? And this Pokemon's still a Little Cup poke.
Yeah. Let me triple check to be safe. Yeah, still Little Cup.
Huh.
It's a very forgettable Pokemon. It was actually one of my favorites in that generation that it came out in. I wasn't a fan of its evolution, though. Its evolution was dumb.
That doesn't help.
It has one evolution.
I think it's the Waterfall Brick Break, because I'm pretty sure I went through the 2 pokes that you would see that on. Although I don't think Brick Break. I can't remember if Brick Break is on Tortuga. I kind of want to check that really quickly.
Probably not, actually.
Because I'm just like, I'm trying to think. Does it get Brick Break? It doesn't. Crap.
Oh, now we're cheating.
Oh, I'm checking.
We're looking at moves.
Messed it up.
Because
Anorith makes the most sense to that, but what else? What else does that? Bidoof doesn't get Rock Slide.
Do you want to go down? Do you want to go down a point for another clue?
I mean, I'm already down a point, so give me a hint.
Give you a hint. Let's see.
Well, you already told me it was Gen 4, so that should try to.
I didn't say the Pokemon's from Gen 4. I'm just saying it's in Gen 4, the moveset.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Give me that hint.
All right. Let's see. I'll give you its ability.
Okay.
Shell armor.
God dang it. Looking at this Pokemon, I don't think that thing gets Waterfall. Shell armor. It still sounds like Tortuga. It still actually sounds like Anorith. Damn it. They both have it.
I was tricky with this one.
What on earth?
I made sure there's a lot of Pokemon like this.
Well, there are a lot of Pokemon that are babies that have shell armor.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be that, would it?
Would it be?
No, it doesn't have shell armor. Aha, good. It's battle armor.
Okay.
It's not Kabuto.
Just tell me when you want that last clue.
No, I'm gonna find all the Pokemon without using a filter with shell armor. I'm not gonna cheat like you. on with shell? Man, I gotta find the shell. You know what? You've told me shell armor. This would save a lot of time if I just type in shell armor.
Yeah, just feel free to do that.
Okay, shell armor. Say the moveset?
Waterfall, crunch. Shoot. No, that's a different set. Waterfall, return, brick, break, rock slide.
Why does Oshawott get shell armor? That's weird.
Oh, it's a hidden ability.
Waterfall, brick break, return, rock slide. Krabby?
Close.
It's Corphish. I knew it. I freaking knew it! Because you'd run sheer force on Krabby. Oh my god. Oh, I didn't know what they
was Corphish.
Wait, actually, you know what? No, it wouldn't have had sheer force in Gen 4. That's a hidden ability. So it wasn't a bad crapshoot guess.
It really was a crab shoot. I get it.
Corphish gets rock slide.
Yeah, Corphish.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
That surprises me.
It can learn rock slide.
Huh.
At least in this generation.
Wow. Hey, no, it still learns it in Gen 7. Corphish.
Yeah, Corphish. I loved Corphish in Gen 3. I just never got it because I think it was it a Ruby exclusive? I don't remember.
Corphish. I was like, I can't remember. Like, when you said it, I'm just going, I don't think he gets rock slide. But, because it makes more sense that it would have eventually gone on to Crab, because I know Kingler gets rock slide and it got sheer force. I'm like, okay, well, if it changed to sheer force in Gen 5, which I'm pretty sure.
I could have gave the hint that its evolution was in the Pro Pokeball. This one at one point.
No, you gotta give me something close to the moveset. You can't just give me, like, some random. Remember those conditions we gave each other, Gamma? Like,
no, I mean, as my hint.
You could have given water type. That would have been also a terrible thing to say. Like, yeah, here's a bunch of water types that get this moveset. Good luck.
But I don't want to be a jerk. Well, I'm not a jerk.
So how many points is that then?
2.
Is it?
Is it 2, or did you cut down because of? I don't remember. Your call. Whatever you think is fair.
It was my second guess on the 2-point tier. I'm just gonna give myself 50 points. Thanks.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
so
well,
what are we at
now
now? 15 to 13.
Points.
15 to 13. All right.
Something like that.
Not that these points even matter. We're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Honestly.
God, look at Corphish's stupid face. Its eyes.
It doesn't even have a mouth.
2 different directions.
It doesn't even have a mouth you can
yeah,
see
it
right
does.
away. Not right away. You can't
mouth.
see it. You can't see it though.
It has a big old frowny face. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and does it open it often?
I don't know. I mean, in the anime it did.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Anime Watcher.
Yeah, I watch the anime. Muda, 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 muda. Ora.
We're well aware of your...
Lero.
What now? That's a new one. I've never
Don't worry
heard that
about
before.
it. You don't want to. Don't Google that.
Then why would you say it on my podcast?
It's just weird. It's not like.
Then why would you say it on my podcast? We're supposed to be the only weird ones here.
Listen, man.
Gamma, we're losing our influence of weird. Stop that.
I'm just gonna hang out with Corphish over here.
No, we're gonna talk about week 4.
Crap.
We're talking about we got 3 matchups we need to take a look at.
Oh man, 3 whole matchups.
3 match. Hey, you know what? I don't mind. Throats needs some saving, so I'm all good with that. Let's take a look at the one I think that will be the well, not the easiest to break down, but one that should be someone who we haven't talked about in a week. Or have we talked about in a week? No, he had a break last week. Let's talk about Golden State Greninjas, our prodigal golden child, up against the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. So, let's look at bans. Let's look at trades. Let's pull those up. We were going to talk about the implications of playing randos, and then I realized, you know what? No one wants to hear that. Let's just get straight into the nitty-gritty. So, Golden State Greninjas did not have anything banned against them. Las Vegas Golden Lucarios lost Scizor.
Yep.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking they were right to ban Scizor.
Why?
That's what I'm thinking. Because it's scary.
You do have Gliscor that gets Fire Fang.
Why are you going to run Fire Fang on a Gliscor?
Why do you run Ice Fang on Gliscor?
Why would you run either?
Because Ice Fang can actually handle certain Pokemon. Same thing with Fire Fang.
Just saying.
It does get Fire Fang, right?
I guess.
I gotta make sure that I tell people to run things where they actually have them. It does get all 3 fangs. I'm like pretty sure I think Thunder Fang on it before too. I think by World Leader of all things. So Golden State Greninjas, freedom to go, and because they keep the Aerodactyl, Scizor would destroy that thing. So I think having access to the Aerodactyl is going to make it look really good. But the priority being set up when Infernape doesn't get a chance to go in and basically say hello with Flare Blitz. Pretty good ban. Pretty good ban in my opinion to keep that threat out. And, I'm just looking between the two teams here. And we're trying to figure out really what is the Pokemon that World Leaders team would have difficult soaking up. I feel like that Meloetta has some value here.
If it's built the way I feel it should be built, I think it's going to do some damage. I think it's going to be a real damage dealer.
You went there.
Mm-hmm.
You are a knife twisting individual.
Listen, I went there because I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I believe that they can do it, and I believe that Meloetta is not bad like people tell me.
It's not bad. It's you.
People tell me it's bad.
Who says it's bad? It's great.
My horrible friends who are no longer my friends now.
Yeah, I think Meloetta actually will do a number if you get Empoleon out of the way. Do you have an answer for an Empoleon? Tapu Fini is not going to really do a heck of a lot. It will be nice to have Tapu Fini, though, for the defensive side for him. And, Venusaur, does poop on it in both typings. I think it's just going to be comfortable for Koma to have access, not to Scizor, but still have the Mega Lopunny, at least have the Tapu Fini to be that support. We saw how much it did against the Fortnite Ninjas, or how much it could have done, but to give him one of his stronger Pokemon that's going to give him good value and actually save him a lot of defensive headaches will be nice, even if it does get completely shut down by one of the Pokemon on the side of the Golden State Greninjas. But the other thing is here, you may see a bit of a polarization between Aerodactyl and Venusaur if they both end up on the same team. I don't think they need to. Aerodactyl actually, does it have enough moves on a single set that can wipe everything out here? Let's go Stone Edge or Rock Slide. Let's go Fire Fang, Crunch, and then Filler Move, or even like Aerial Ace. It could do it. It could do it with a little bit of support, some hazards, and it wouldn't be able to kill off Fini. That's what makes me think. But you can still go offensive, or still go that same bulky Venusaur. Just won't be as bulky to be able to manage all that. But I think World Leader has a better chance at just doing more damage to the defensive core and being able to finish it off with an offensive Pokemon like Aerodactyl. On the side of Las Vegas Cold Luncarios, I think the Meloetta has a fair amount of value here. Does Lopunny do much? You really also have to look at the Pokemon that can soak up everything. I'm still looking at Kofagrigus to see if it's going to work here. I think it can. I'm trying to see if he's got really an answer to Kofagrigus. If that Kofagrigus goes Calm Mind, it might live long enough to do a lot of damage, or even like Trick Room Calm Mind, or Trick Room Nasty Plot. Maybe Nasty Plot and build it defensively, like especially defensive. What are you thinking, Gamma? You're muted.
Oh, come on!
See, I can be muted. You can't be muted.
What I was saying is I'd probably go with the Nasty Plot set. I don't think it needs the special defense so much as it can rush the special attack and sweep.
Well, what I'm saying is if you build it specially defensive but go Nasty Plot, right? So it could soak the hits work, and then just go from stock and just build it up. I think actually Kofagrigus plus I was supposed to say missing no. Meloetta can both do a fair amount, because the other thing you have to worry about is the Empoleon, but oftentimes you run HP fighting on your Kofagrigus, so I think between those two you can actually do a good chunk of damage, and you already have a bulky Pokemon. Would I run Assault Vest Meloetta? Oh, I don't know. I think I'd want to go a little more aggressive with the Specs to the Life Orb or something along those lines, because or even like Modest Leftovers. I don't know.
As long as it has a Psychic move.
Yes,
Mega Venusaur, because that Mega Venusaur needs to go.
Yeah, that Mega Venusaur does need to go. There are no comfortable ways of killing it off unless you run Fire Punch on Lopunny.
It doesn't matter. It's Mega. It's got Thick Fat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that makes this worse. Yeah, run Psychic moves this week, please. But Claydol, if it doesn't get hit with Giga Drain. Don't run Claydol. No. Were there any trades, by the way, we need to speak of for this?
We have trades, not for these two, I don't believe.
Not for were these the only two where I didn't have to look at trades?
I believe so.
That's astounding. Wow, I even lucked out saying that those didn't even have to happen. That's beautiful. We should also shout out those who will have the week off to shout out their trades, because there's one person who is not playing who has a trade, and we'll talk about that after. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to the Meloetta and the Kofa Grigas if they're built offensively. We'll have to see what the strategies are going to have for each other going into this. I do favor World Leader's defensive or just overall composition more as a team, mainly because he has the moves to take down the strongest defense on the side of Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. That's not as doomsday saying as it could be. That just means that it will have to be a little more play around what's going on with things and make sure that stuff doesn't get too out of hand.
Yeah.
So that's all there is to it. There's nothing. I don't think there's much imbalance here, and there should be enough Pokemon here on both sides to be able to try and execute a game strategy. Okay, let's quickly shout out the team that is not going to be playing this week, and that is going to be Ice Cold. Ice Cold is off, and they will be trading out Kyurem and trading in Hydreigon. So we're taking out the frozen chicken from KFC to join that was going to join the chicken club, and we've brought in that burnt chicken that ends up at the bottom of the grill that you just kind of clean out after a month. Get it? Because it's dark time. It's burnt. It's like it's burnt. Yeah. Thank you. What do we think of the Switch? I think it's a fantastic Switch, personally.
Yeah, no, it's a good deal. I think picking up the Hydreigon's a very smart move.
Yeah.
I still think it was a little bit of a bad idea for Traverse City Thunders to drop that last week, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did.
But they did pick up a good Pokemon in the process, so I mean, it kind of evens out.
In the end, when it comes to trades in this tournament, it's not necessarily just like holding on to the most value at times. Sometimes you just have to pick up the Pokemon that does the best for you, not just the best in general. So dropping Hydreigon is a tough decision, but I think the Aggron's going to get a lot more done with this team, considering that he's seen how much he can do without it. He's got spinners. He doesn't need, and he's got a defogger as well. He doesn't need to worry about that stuff per se. For Initiator, I think this is a grant. Like, that Kyurem was just not doing it for him, and Hydreigon, in my opinion, is a direct upgrade, especially against future opponents. If he does go into the top 6 and needs to play against the likes of the Slowking or play against the likes of these Pokemon that he just couldn't kill before, I think this is going to help him do a lot more damage. Plus, Hydreigon is that really awkward 92 speed, I think? Is it 92?
Serby.
Hydreigon. Your speed is 98. Oh, he's 98? He's faster than Haxorus? Huh. Regardless, he's still that awkward sub 100, so it could still be used in Trick Room. Don't do it, most likely, but it's 92 HP. Oh my god, how did I confuse those two? Either way. 98 speed, respectable speed. It's faster than Kyurem. I think it's going to hit harder than Kyurem was going to. More coverage, that's reliable on Hydreigon. So, really, this is a great pickup for Ice Cold. Not much to say about that. Direct upgrade. Makes use of that Pokemon being thrown back into the pool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, second match of Week 4. We will talk about Lunar Cresselia versus Traverse City Thunderous. Of course, with Traverse City Thunderous coming out of that 1-1 feeling really good against Sweet D, and then seeing what happened with Tyler Poke Trainer, what kind of things can we expect here in terms of the mentality and going into this matchups? As we mention the bans, Traverse City Thunderous lost her Gyarados. So the Volcarona is on the table for that sweep that he needs. And Lunar Cresselia has lost their Manectric.
It's a pretty big hit.
And Lunar Cresselia has dropped their Electrode, grabbed Cryogonal, yes! And Traverse City Thunderous dropped the Archeops and brought in the Haunter.
Yeah, Archeops wasn't doing much for him, so I can see why he dropped it. I am clueless as to why he picked Haunter, though. I'm not going to lie.
So, some of the things that Haunter can do...
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Haunter is 95 speed, right? It's a fast Pokemon, actually hurts. The stab that it has can be like similar to what Gengar does, right? They have, in fact, I think the exact same moveset that they can run. Just Haunter's weaker. So Scarf Haunter could do a heck of a lot of damage. Life Orb Haunter with D-Bond can do a heck of a lot of damage. There's a lot of things that I think Haunter offers. It's another offensive Pokemon that can be made Scarf, and in the end, if I look at his team, I think it's just another option for replacing a Pokemon that would be Scarfed otherwise. If you think about it, the last two Pokemon he's dropped both were used as defoggers, but then because they're being used as defoggers, they lose that move slot where they could both be incredibly aggressive. So now he's got Aggron. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get an arguably more reliable hitter, because he actually, like, keep this in mind, Archeops went in as an NURU and Haunter comes in as a PU. So he makes that trade down specifically to get most likely that coverage that he needs, because if he's running hyper aggressive, he needs that coverage. And if it's against Lunar Cresselias, let's take a look at the team here really quickly. Actually doesn't get him that much against the Lunar Cresselias. I think it's just a switch. Unless he was worried about that Sylveon, but then he's got Aggron, so I think it's just a good trade to make it in while he's in, to just be like, yeah, here's Archeops, I don't need it. Haunter will just give me that. It'll give me that nice Pokemon with a really good speed and special attack stat that will offer me Sludge Wave or Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball support if needed. I think it's just a scoop up before people start realizing that some of their team is useless. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
For the side of Lunar Cresselias with the Cryogonal, I mean, anything is better than Electrode at this point. He's shown that he doesn't need the Electrode. Electrode was just that random pickup he did at the end, which was, again, questionable. Like, why didn't you just pick up something else that might do something? But, you know, remedies that with Cryogonal being a spinner. Another spinner.
I love spinners.
Spinners forever. Spinning for days. And
Frick hazards.
Yeah. Hey, if he comes up against Manchester United, now he's got Freeze Dry. That'll truly handle the likes of the Alomomola.
A llama damma.
It's not a llama mama.
A llama mama.
A llama mama. Anyways, I think it's just, like, again, options, much better Pokemon. It's going to get a lot more done in the long run. Screen setter, spinner. It's everything it wants to be, minus the fact that it's a very frail snowflake. That's it. Literally, it's a really frail snowflake. But does everything good. So, good upgrades. What do we see between these two, though? We see that he gets his Alolan Muck back. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, you're right. It did a lot of work the last time it was out there.
Always does a lot of work. It's Alolan Muck.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It could be a slight bait because Gligar and Tyrantrum can have a little bit of fun with it. Albeit you don't want them to get knocked off. But you've got a lot of moves that can kind of blast through on the physical side. And then, I mean, when I look at the Thundurus, I don't look at what his defensive options are going to look like, because he has little defensive options, right? He's got Aggron Muck. That's his dream defense core with Rhyperior. They're all going down to ground moves. He's actually completely weak to ground in that regard. So anything that runs ground rock is going to sweep this team. Tyrantrum is a hero again.
I hate everything. I believe in you, Tyrantrum. Drop those ground moves. You're the real hero.
You can hear he's deflated in hype after he said it once when it muted, and then he has to come say it again.
I'm gonna stop muting now.
I think this is a rock polish time. I don't think that, like, if he feels comfortable enough with Scarf, I think this is a speed up Tyrantrum and win situation. Because I think Tyrantrum, I mean, Rhyperior is going to be a bit tough to break through, but he has access to his Shaman still. So Shaman can come in and take a lot of that. Yeah, it doesn't want Mega Horn, but I mean, times 4 super effective. So Seed Flare is going to scare that thing out, no problem. So, you know, I actually kind of favor this team to have a lot of offense that could do it against the Traverse City Thundurus. And maybe even Scarf. You know what? Maybe I think Scarf Excadrill finds more value here if he's going to run it again. Just not using it on Aggron, right? Using it on something like Volcarona would work well. That's why I even think you can get away with Scarf Tyrantrum, although I think he has a better chance of sweeping with using the correct timing of Rock Polish or something of the sort. Or Dragon Dance. Doesn't it get Dragon Dance? What do you get?
Tyrantrum?
Yeah. Doesn't it get
That's a good
DD?
question.
Yeah, it does get Dragon Dance. Yeah, it gets Dragon Dance. It gets Rock Polish. So it has ways to sweep. So, you know, you go Rock Polish here. Or I think Rock Polish, though, just in case he kind of gets set up on. Because if I'm thinking about a Volcarona sweep, Giga Drain's neutral. Everything else is resisted. Actually, yeah. Bug is resisted by Dragon? Does Dragon resist Bug? No, it doesn't. No. So, okay, so still got a neutral hit that's going to be good. So maybe not. That's why I'd think like either Scarf or Rock Polish, like try and get that going. I don't think DD will be fast enough if he gets up to +1. And something like Assault Vest, I think it's just like you should just go all out with Tyrantrum all the time, in my opinion. But I do favor that Lunar Cresselia could find a way to make some of this work. And he's got his Pidgeot back. Pidgeot having that speed, or Hurricane on the Volcaronas doesn't have any special defense boost from Quiver Dance. That's going to hurt. Serena doesn't really do much, scarfed it against it type of thing. I think he scares off a lot here with that. He is more afraid of the Manectric, though, which makes me think that he thought he was going to get away with Gyarados. So I think he lost on that front when it comes down to the blind guessing. Because yes, the Alolan Muck is there, but who cares when you have a bunch of Pokemon that can kill off the Alolan Muck on the physical side? And he wanted Gyarados to win. Because would Gyarados actually do a lot to him? The answer is yes. Actually, Gyarados would destroy this team. So I think he wanted the Manectric gone so that he was going to keep his Gyarados. And Tyler, I think, called that. And it's good sight from him, in my opinion. That's good sight to see how Gyarados was not going to get him. So
it was a solid ban.
It's a solid ban. That's like they're both solid bans considering, but I think at the end of the day, I think he got away with it. But then again, you also just don't want Mega Man just using basically Volt Switch for free against this team minus Rhyperior. So, because it does use it for free against this team, barring a scarfed Serena or Rhyperior. So, Alolan Raichu does not have Volt Absorb, right? What does that get? I'm learning so much today.
Surge Server.
What does that do again? What does that actually do?
I believe it doubles speed in electric terrain.
Oh, that's why it's never used.
Let me double check.
Yeah, it does. It's an electric terrain, double speed.
Okay.
That is so terrible. Anyways, I am curious to see if he finds his way in. I think if Tyler's a little bit fresher this week and sees that he's got a good advantage here, we can feel out some positive vibes here for Tyler Poke Trainer. Start putting some gusto in his action, really, against a higher ranked player too. Plus, this is also a rematch. This is a rematch between the finals and the preseason where Tyler Poke Trainer did take it. So that should be exciting now that they have to bring these matches to themselves. Right? Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Oh, look at you. Last match of the week. The featured matchup. Actually, Gamma said this should be the featured match of the week, and I'm going to let him explain why. But he says, and I agree, now, with his explanation that he's going to give again, he's going to remember perfectly because he's not a goldfish.
He is a goldfish.
Manchester Manectric versus Todd Skyrim Howard.
Yeah. So about being a goldfish, I'm a goldfish. I'm sorry. It's almost 5, dude. I don't remember anything I said an hour ago.
Okay, why do you want them to be the featured matchup?
What did I say? No, I'm sure I was very methodical in saying that.
You were saying something along the lines of them being of relative skill for a person who's been in the tournament versus a person who's just coming to the tournament in Todd Skyrim, Soto dude.
Yeah, I believe that they were somewhat evenly matched. I feel like it's going to be back to back play to play, and I'm excited to see the constant back and forth with that.
That's why I think they're the featured matchup of the week.
I think Soto Dude has shown that he is definitely a middle of the tier pack, a player who can get better over time. He's definitely got a lot of room for improvement, but he can also he can play out very well. He's got a very scary team. I love his team. His team is always fun. Once again, he loses the Dragonite. He's never going to be able to spam that meme. I don't think it's ever happening. And Manchester Manectric lose their Galvantula, so not wanting to deal with that thing. And I found that kind of interesting that was the ban. Because if you actually look, I want you to take a look at Todd Skyrim Howard's team, right? I want you to look at Soto's team. With that ban, did you realize that Galvantula outspeeds his whole team?
Yes, it does.
It literally outspeeds his whole team, right? So I'm sitting there going, why the Galvantula? Because Sticky Web's not going to matter. I'm like, oh, it's just because it can literally spam attacks on everything, minus the Zerkatry. I'm just like, oh, jeez, okay, I guess. It's a speed tie. Wait, is it 109 or 108? Because if it's 109, it also outspeeds Cobalion by 1.
I can't do anything to Chandelure.
It's 108, so it's a speed tie. I mean, dropping a Thunder, it's going to hurt. I'm not saying it's going to win.
Zerkatry,
it said barring Zerkatry.
Okay.
It just said barring Zerkatry.
Bar you. I don't know about this. No, it can solidly hit everything on his team. Except
Yeah,
for
I could
those
just
two.
it just gets a free hit off, which he doesn't want to deal with. But most likely that makes me think that if he's looking at the side of Ivan's and he just wants to be like, okay, I just don't want to take a lot of free damage. The Pokemon that I'm really looking to then, if he wants that thing to happen, makes me think Cobalion. Because Cobalion will want to set up to try and outspeed the Mega Absol. Or it's going to outspeed... Well, Mega Absol's going to get slightly faster once it Megas, but I think Cobalion, it will outspeed the likes of the Mienshao. Will outspeed the likes of the Mega Absol if it sets up with Rock... It does get Rock Polish, right? Yeah. So, Cobalion does a fair amount here. However, this... You know what? Oh my god. Wait a minute.
What?
Sotoju just released Kyurem Black.
Oh, no.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, but here's the thing, though. He's got a Pokemon that destroys it with Dual Stab. So that's why he's not afraid of it. But Kyurem Black's been banned since the very beginning, similar to his Dragonite. Interesting. Is this a bait, though? Is that why he banned Galvantula? He banned Galvantula so he didn't have to deal with the Kyurem Black when he's lowering his speed on the Cobalion. Ooh, that's good.
Ooh. Things are getting spicy.
Ooh. Now here's the thing, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, oh man, that's good. Because I'm wondering if Ivan's gonna want to take that bait. I don't think he should, because there's a lot of what happens here. Okay, what are the implications of this? Hoopa's gone. He's got Kingdra. Oh my god. Rain Dance Kingdra destroys it too. With Swift Swim. Oh, that's super funny. So he's leaving it open to be like, I dare you. It's a dare. I bet you it's a dare. It's a freaking dare.
It's
Gamma,
a call out.
whatever your name is.
It's
It's a call out. He's like, bring it, I'll kill it. Oh, that's good. I don't even think that. If he's not even thinking that way, I'm still giving him credit. That's good. Because Xurkitree handles the Togekiss Alomomola, right? Kingdra handles the Kyurem Black. Cobalion handles the Kingdra Black.
The Kingdra Black.
the Galarian
Kingdra.
Galarian Kingdra, duh.
Of course.
It's actually called like Queen Rye or something like that.
Oh my god. Queendra.
Queendra. But yeah, like
I'm sorry.
No, go.
I was gonna make a Queener, but it's just a small something like that. I don't know. I'm tired.
You got answers with Cobalion. I actually, this is gonna be on Ivan, I think, to answer this, because wow, like he actually has a lot of like that Kingdra's really good because now he's got the Jellicent, which can come in on the Nidoqueen, but he's also got the Primarina, which can do that, but doesn't want to because Sludge Wave. But Jellicent and Kingdra can both do this, dropping Ice Beams or water moves or stuff like this. Huh? That's really tough. So yeah, that Sticky Web actually matters a lot when you look at the pieces of it. However, it doesn't mean that this is over, right? I don't think the defensive core is going to matter too much here for Manchester Manectric. They're pretty countered on that end. I think this is when you go aggressive and you try and find the way to make that Kyurem Black work. Maybe a Scarf Black, potentially, because if you go Scarf Kyurem Black, then that could try and get you the speed, try and get the cheesy kills. Maybe Scarf Mienshao. This is where the double Scarf comes in again. I'm looking like Scarf Mienshao, Scarf Kyurem Black, DD Zygarde 10%. Get that set up. The tough thing is going to be though what he pivots those into, unless he just goes for the looks at Soto Dude's team and goes, this Pokemon tries to win now and just try and get as much damage done. And then he goes to the next one, tries to get as much damage done. And hopefully he kind of rams enough face, because I actually do give this to Todd Skyrim in terms of team matchups. He's got a lot to answer a lot of Ivan's team. A lot. Interesting. Very interesting. I like how deep that conversation, wow.
Now you can see why Gamma picked him. I knew the whole time.
Wow.
I just talked in third person. That's weird.
Gamma talking in third person. Incredible.
I want to see how this goes.
You know what? I want this feature because I want to see if that's what we actually called. Not even if we just got the ban right. I just want to see if we're actually calling the bluff to bring Kyurem Black, and if Ivan actually falls for it. I don't think he will now he's listening to this, but even if he doesn't and he brings it and he wins with it, I don't care. The point is, did we call everything that was going through both their minds? That would be amazing. truly astounding.
You're giving us too much credit.
No, I think we need Gamma. I think it's time, despite the fact that we're self-deprecating and the fact that we really don't give ourselves a lot of credit. I think it's time we start taking the Tauros by the horns. You're right. Let's not do that. Let's just stay as our average commentators.
I'm tired, man. I don't want to hold no bull by the horn.
You can be confident while you're tired. You can just sleep and be like, Gamma. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
You ever think about doing that? Just snoring your first name.
Just exude confidence in my
First name
sleep.
Gamma. Oh, no. First name Amma. Last name Gamma. First name Pro. Last name Noob. Pokey is my middle name that I never had. Fun fact, I don't actually have a middle name. I don't see a point to him either, so.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, my family was just like, there's no reason to him. So, like, my dad has a middle name because Christian House, so they just named him after apostles, and my parents were like, it's just extra writing for them. I go, Mom, thank you. Thank you, because I don't want to write an extra middle name, and, you know, my initials don't spell well when you put a middle initial in. So, AS is hard to work with, man.
Man, mine kind of actually contributed to my username, so I'm just going to leave that there. I go no further.
Okay, I could see it, but aren't you just, like, a service that people go to when they have a drinking problem?
What?
Ow!
Stop hitting me!
I'm hitting me! I'm not hitting you.
You're hitting me. I can feel it in my ear holes.
I'm hitting your eardrums.
No. Well, okay,
Aren't you this?
So
Aren't you this?
Hold on. No. I'm this.
Oh, you have a middle name. That's what I was about to say. Like, do you have a middle name?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that middle name. You don't need to tell me.
Hence
It's
the
fine.
Gamma.
Oh.
It was a palindrome at one point.
It doesn't explain the ending part. It explains the beginning part.
It was a palindrome. Oh my god, dude. Do I have to spell this out for you?
No, you have two M's. That's a lie. You ruined the palindrome.
Yeah, I had to change it after people started calling me a magma. Thanks, Ox. I got cyberbullied into changing my name. He's currently dying on the floor. Probably gonna cut this out, but either way, I'm officially broken noob at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Plugs go plugs.
Okay, well, my name is a magma. You guys want to check me out on Twitch? It's twitch.tv/amagama. I do Pocket Aces editing along with Boss, who's a cool dude. I want to shout him out because he's been really awesome these past few weeks. I also do editing on our other podcast, Gotcha. So if you guys get the chance, go listen to that on Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever. You can hear me and Noob freak out about Pokemon Masters. He won't put the game down, and I'm mad about it. He's still playing it. He's been playing it through the whole podcast.
No, I haven't. No, I actually. You saw me.
Sure.
Our screens are up.
Sure.
Here. Do you see it open, Gamma?
Mm-hmm.
Look at my.
I see a phone.
Yeah.
I see it right there.
Oh, here. Let me just show you.
Wait a minute. Why are you playing Wordscape? That's weird.
Wordscape's cool. I like Wordscape. Why?
Yeah, I guess.
I wanted a game that was a
long time.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I wanted a game that was mentally stimulating. I also play a game that looks at the different orientations of limbs, which helps with my condition. So.
So, how much money have you dropped in Pokemon Masters yet?
Zippo. I do not drop any
good.
money on free games anymore unless I will be streaming it, which you may see me streaming it, but I'm not going to drop money on it anyways. There's no reason to spend money. Like, it's until you get to that point where you do like super heavy grinding, there's really no reason to spend money on it yet or at all. Because I've learned from my League of Legends days. Don't spend thousands of dollars on a single game.
Don't remind me.
Oh, it's happened. No,
it's not worth $20 for one skin. It's got maybe one different animation. Stop it.
Well, they've gotten much better though. Like just some skin. Oh, the Dark Star Jin. Oh, it's
so
good.
Are you trying to convince me to go back to?
Stop. No, let's just play Teamfight Tactics. Now. Just play Teamfight Tactics. Whatever. You don't have to spend a single penny on Teamfight Tactics.
I can't go back there. Don't bring me back. Don't bring me back.
It's fun, Gamma.
Don't bring me back, no.
We're going back to the Pro Pokeball. because Week 4 battles will be August 14th, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time start. Thank you very much for joining us. If you'd like to watch the show live with live commentary and much more clinical and critical analysis that happens way more than us making faces and dying to make twitch.tv/ProPokeNoob. That is PROPOKEEK. This is why I don't spell out my name. I don't know how to spell my name.
Propinoki noob.
The pro polka, as in dancing the polka tango noob. Come over to twitch.tv/ProPokeNoob, and you can find it there, as well as all my social medias at ProPokeNoob on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where we are right now. Why would I shout out YouTube when I'm already here? You know what? Check out more of the YouTube if you're coming here just for this. Unless, you know what? Oh, because this could get converted to a podcasting site one day when I can afford it and figure out what an RSS feed is. Cam, I need help with that.
Alright, listen, an RSS feed.
Don't explain to me now.
Host
we have to close.
And a website that love each other very much.
Oh, this went even weirder than I thought it was going to. Anyways, thank you very much for coming out today, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode, or see you at the Pro Pokeball Week 4. Have an excellent night, everybody. Night? Have an excellent time of day. This is a nightmare. Good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.